Mother, coming to you from Keep Lake Como Beautiful. And I wanted to do a little recap, something a little different today from office hours. We have office hours every Thursday, 10 a.m. If you have any concerns, questions, or comments about the work that we're doing in the neighborhood, that is your opportunity to get on and have that discussion with me online. I do have an office here in Lake Como, 5112 Bonnell Avenue. I have office hours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. So if there are any concerns, questions, comments, anything I can help you as it pertains to crime, litter, bulk waste, and illegal dumping, and the quality of life issues that plague us here in Lake Como, I really want you to have access to me, and I want us to find solutions together. This is a block by block campaign to make sure that Lake Como is cleaner, safer, and more protected. I took some notes. I'm not going to be on here too long so I want to kind of breeze through it. I did take notes, some of the questions that people had, some of the things that people email me about, and questions I have for the city. So let's jump right into it. Scrolling up, I want to first start out by saying that a community absolutely should not have to choose the next project before it sees the receipts from the last one. So we're talking about money, y'all. And we're not talking about new money. We're talking about what's left. And when you talk about what's left, that means something was already spent, right? Okay. And we want to talk about if the money was already spent and nobody knew about it, that says something about the process that the city uses to deal with Lake Como itself. So let's get right into it. In 2021, Lake Como, the community, received a $3.1 million neighborhood improvement program investment. Neighborhood improvement program, the acronym is NIP, and that's how I'll be referring to it from here on out. That funding was meant to improve infrastructure, safety, and quality of life based on conditions, real conditions in Lake Como that they got from resident input somewhere before 2021, right? All right. So now we're at the end of that cycle. And if I'm being honest, we're not at the end of the cycle. The cycle was supposed to be 3 years from the issue date. So if the money was received in 2021 and it's now 2026, you do the math. That means there was some drift. There was somebody lost track of the money somewhere along the way, and the city could have just as easily scooted it on to somewhere else. But, they have books that they need to keep too. So I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I am most definitely saying that if we have leadership in this community and you're not able to keep track of the money when we need it so badly, are you really the leader? Let me keep it moving. So now that we're at the end of the cycle, it's about $49,000 that had been unaccounted for. And there is a public meeting scheduled for Thursday, April 30th at 6 p.m. at the Como Community Center. The question is simple. Who decides how that money is going to get spent? And when do residents actually get to shape the outcome? Because if this is the 11th hour, this is the last minute, this is the last $50,000, that meant what happened to the rest of the $3.1 million? Okay, I'm going to keep it moving. So what was this program supposed to do? The Neighborhood Improvement Program, the NIP, wasn't random. Neighborhoods were selected based on data. That means they looked at infrastructure gaps, public safety conditions, economic need, community engagement capacity, right? So this was supposed to be targeted investment with measurable outcomes. It wasn't just supposed to be a spending spree. Okay? It's supposed to have a strategy. Let's move in, keep it moving to where are we now? We're being told that the remaining funds, there are remaining funds, right? There's a meeting. There's a list of possible park projects. Okay. But here's the tension. Residents are being re-engaged at the end of the process, not at the beginning. Keeping it moving. Let's talk about transparency. I asked a simple question via email. Will residents be able to see exactly how the money has already been spent before the meeting? Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm at this computer all day, every day. I've actually been a computer teacher. I'm a Google educator. Look, You show me an Excel file on the way into a meeting, I'm probably not going to absorb what I'm supposed to be absorbing. So the question for me was, are we going to be able to see that prior to the meeting on Thursday, the 30th at 6 p.m.? Okay. Let me keep it going. The response was a breakdown will be provided, but not necessarily in advance. That matters. Because you cannot meaningfully participate in real time if you're seeing the numbers for the first time in the room at 6 o'clock. Okay. Keeping it moving. Let's talk about boundaries. Another important question that was asked was this: what area was the money originally meant to serve? Because the program is designated to serve a specific census tract, the target area, based on need. Okay. Because the program was designed for that. If the funds were spent outside of the target area, who decided that? We deserve to understand that. Residents deserve to understand the who, the what, the when, the where, the how the money was spent and where it, how did it get outside the area? Because I'm going to let you know right up front something that they might not let you know in the meeting. A lot of the money was spent at Lake Como Park. Lake Como Park is not in the area of need that was identified during research. The money was spent in Lake Como Park because a specific entity, the Lake Como NAC, said, hey, let's spend it over here. So now we're stuck because the city's like, you know what? We've made such a significant investment over there. How about we just keep spending money over here, even though it wasn't supposed to be spent there in the first place? It kind of puts me in the mind of two wrongs don't make a right, but you know what I'm saying? So let's just talk about governance for a minute. Governance. All right. So let's talk about structure. The Neighborhood Advisory Council has been the primary channel for engagement for Lake Como for almost 40 years. But when one structure becomes the main gatekeeper, it shapes outcomes. Absolutely. So we have to ask, who was included early enough to shape the decisions and who is just now being asked to react? So if it was talks in 2021 and before that, presentations were made in 2021, I'm looking for any type of evidence that says that the NAC actually engaged the community. And if they didn't engage the community, that means that's a conversation just between the city and the NAC, not the city and the neighborhood. Because all of us pay taxes. Matter of fact, I can talk to anybody. I can stop anybody on the street at this time and they will tell you, hey, these taxes are out of control. For my tax money, I want representation. I want to have a seat at the table. So what this $49,000 should do. We're here. It's $49,000 left. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm still with my notes. The conversation is leaning towards additional park investment, as I stated. But here's the real question. Are we investing in appearance or are we investing in functionality? Because if parts of the park are not usable due to sanitation, access, and safety issues, then that is where the conversation should start. I will say it again on Thursday, April the 30th at 6 p.m. at the Como Community Center. The conversation should start. What makes the park functional? Not cute, not pretty. You don't dress up a pig. It's still a pig. I will say this because I go to the park every single day and I will tell you that pavilion is a hazardous waste dump. Homeless people live under there. There is feces on the tables, in the corners. There are concentric circles of urine under a sign that says reserve this space. So that means that our tax dollars are being spent to maintain a space that absolutely is unusable. And people are asking for cute things. Make it livable. We are human. We have opportunities to go and enjoy all the investments that they put at the park, except for you will not have a water fountain. You will not have a place to use the restroom because they have been decimated for time and homelessness and just lack of upkeep. Let me get back to it because I can go all day. All right. So because of this, the park is not usable, sanitation, access, and safety issues. Then that is where the conversation should start. Solve the condition first and then build on top of that. Let me close this out. This is not about opposing a project. I love it when they spend money here to improve our living conditions. It's up to us to get out of the house and go and enjoy them. But the money is being spent. It's a matter of who's telling them where to spend it, right? So this is about making sure the process works the way it was designed to work. If you want your voice to matter, you need 3 things. Clear information. You can't make any decisions about anything without clear information. You need real options, not options that 2 or 3 people think up and then the city's like, oh yeah, we're going to go with that. No, I want real options that make a difference in the quality of life and how I experience Lake Como, because this is my forever home. And you need enough time to think before you decide. So here's the move. I wrote a briefing. I'm going to publish it maybe in another hour. I wrote a blog post with all the information on it, and you can go and look at the things that I was able to collect during a public information request. You can watch this episode again if you need to. You definitely should share it and show up on April 30th informed and ready, because this is the final stretch of a multi-year investment, and it still matters how it ends.